Hi everyone. Today we're in Cerner 223 and I'm going to show you how to write an individual progress note that is not a scheduled service. I think that you're going to find that many of the steps I'm walking you through today are the same steps that you're accustomed to doing. The most notable changes are going to be how the progress note looks once we open it. So I'm going to start by opening up our client chart, and I'm going to open Bruce Wayne's chart by right-clicking on his name and clicking Client Panel. As you can see, he already has many progress notes that have been added to his chart. So I'm going to click on New Progress Note, click on the blue hyperlink, and in this case I want to select Individual Progress Note. So I'm going to click Select. And it defaults to the current date for the start date. Click Save. And this is what the new progress note looks like. You can resize your window the traditional way, or Cerner has recently discovered the Maximize button that is in the upper right hand corner. The easiest way to go about writing this note is by going from top to bottom. I think it's easiest to start in this left hand panel that is the current client information. So it gives us basic information on our client, their name, client ID, if they have any allergies, gender, date of birth, and how old they are. So the first thing that the system wants me to do is to tell it which treatment plan that this note is going to be attached to. And I do this by clicking on the green plus sign. And you can see that Bruce Wayne is enrolled in a couple of different programs. So today I'm going to pretend that I'm doing an individual session at the DRP. So I'm going to tell the system that I want this note attached to the CD treatment plan. You can also see that he has a residential admission note because I have him enrolled at the CR as well. But again, today we're doing an individual session at the DRP. So if I click CD treatment plan, it pulls forward his individual intervention because I selected individual progress note. So in this case, it's a 204. If I click 204, you'll see that a green check mark appears, and it pulls forward any objectives in his treatment plan that have a 204 connected to them. So we're going to pretend that I'm doing the first objective. I click and a green check mark appears, and then I'm going to click Save. And we're going to pretend that that's the objective that I'm working on today. If I hadn't selected an objective, when I went to final approve my progress note, it would tell me that the service was unplanned. So as you can see that this client narrative has grayed out now, it looks like I can't type anymore, but if I double click on the gray bar that says client narrative, you'll see that there's a red exclamation mark, and this is telling me that the narrative has to be individualized before I can final approve the note. So if I double click on client narrative, my client narrative pane actually is orange again, and that tells me that I can type. If your program requires a standardized text, you would add this text by clicking on the standard menu that is actually a little notepad. And it gives me all the options of standardized text that are within the system. So in this case, I want an OASIS progress note. And it comes up the same way it does in our current version. And I'm going to write my narrative and click Save. Now I'm going to move on to my signatures pane. There's two different signature panes. There's My Signatures, which shows anyone that's signing the note, and there's Pending Signatures. In order to be in one, you have to click off of the other. So in this case, I have 3 pending signatures. To sign my note, one of the nice features about the new version is that you don't have to put in your password anymore. You can right-click on the signature line, click Electronically Sign, and it automatically defaults to whoever is logged in. If you have to send your note to anyone, such as a billing staff, a QI staff, or your supervisor, you would do so by right-clicking on the signature line, clicking Assign Signatory. You can look up whoever you have to send it to, If you only sign them yourself and you don't have to send them to anyone, you can right-click on the signature lines that aren't being used and delete them. Next, I move on to my service information. So you can see that this red bar is showing me that I have a validation. So it's telling me that I need to add in our service information because I didn't progress note off of a scheduled service. And I'm going to do so by double-clicking on the red bar. And you're going to see that the same information that you're used to putting in comes up. You'll see that once I have put in all the required information, the service information is now blue. This tells me that the system has everything that it needs and that this note can be final approved. This is telling me that I have a potential duplicate service because we're in train and I have a couple other services scheduled for the same time. So I'm just going to click yes. And you'll see that my individual note is now in Bruce Wayne's chart. And if I want to look at this note, I would double click on it. And you'll see now that our service information is green, and that's telling me that the service has been posted. And we're all done.